blanket might be nice to have. I think that's all we'll need. So pretty prop simple today. We're going to be talking about the importance of the exhale. You know, we all know how important breath is, integral to our yoga practice. But a lot of times I think we talk more about inhaling, take a big breath in, that kind of thing. And, you know, if you've been coming to my class, you guys know I focus a lot more on exhaling. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So we might notice when we start to get really jacked up in our nervous system and we're, you know, under stress, that kind of thing. If we stop and notice, we might find that we're not breathing optimally. We're not breathing completely. And we're really favoring our inhale when we're in that state of being. And so by slowing things down and making sure we have a complete exhalation, there's so many benefits for the body. We're helping to release toxins from the body. We're helping to get the carbon dioxide out. And if we're only exhaling part way, we don't get that carbon dioxide out. And then we don't have the kind of natural impulse to get a nice full inhalation. So by completing the exhale, it's going to allow our inhales to be more efficient. And we'll actually find our inhales are easier if we strengthen those exhalation muscles. So we're going to do a bit of core work on our back to strengthen those exhalation muscles. And then we'll proceed through our practice and just keep focusing on those exhales throughout. The exhales also help lower our heart rate, lower our blood pressure, calms the nervous system, shift us more to parasympathetic. So if we're caught up in that like phase of not exhaling fully and we're doing these shallow breaths, it's going to lead to that whole host of health problems. So our heart rate variability doesn't change. We're stuck in that elevated heart rate all the time, and that can make us feel really jacked up. Do you guys have any questions about that before we get started? All right, so we're going to begin on our backs, and let's do constructive rest where we have our feet flat and our knees bent. And I will meet you there. Well, let me go ahead and mute everybody. Okay. So feel free to start music now if you are playing music today. And then let's take a few moments just to settle into this position. You're welcome to keep feet and knees hips distance apart. If you would prefer, you could walk your feet wider and let your knees drop into center. And that's often nice on the lower back. It broadens the sacrum to let those knees drop in. And then let's take these first few moments to observe your own breath imprint. We all have a particular imprint, how our breath moves in our body, where it moves, how deep it is, how smooth it is. So notice the qualities of your own breath as you arrive on your mat. Do you find any difficulty with your inhale or your exhale? Is one easier than the other? Without changing anything, do you notice more breath in the ribs, in the belly, in the chest? Is there any sense of breath in your back body? We're going to do a little experiment in a moment to show you how when our alignment is off in our bodies, how it affects our breathing. So we talk about alignment a lot in yoga class, and sometimes, you know, that's to keep us safe, maybe not hurt ourselves if our alignment's good, is to help us feel better, have better posture. But one more benefit that we don't often talk about is that when our body is aligned correctly, our breath is more optimal. So go Go ahead and put your hands on your rib cage. And then slide your rib cage slightly to the right, like you're bumping it out to the right without lifting anything up. And now try to take an inhale and an exhale. Kind of get stuck a little bit and then come back to center. And now try another breath with your spine aligned in the center. A lot easier there. Just go ahead, try the other side. Bump your rib cage toward the left. You might kind of let your right shoulder drop down a little bit and try to breathe. And then come back to the center. Now let your arms come down at your side. Roll your arms in towards your body and keep rolling until your shoulders lift and round off the floor. Your chest will cave in and your tailbone will start to curl up. Your chin might stick up. So you're really kind of in a rounded spine. Now try to take a breath. And then slowly release. Take a breath now in neutral. See the difference. Now we're going to do the opposite. Roll the arm bones open until your shoulder blades kind of pull together. Arch your spine away from the ground, like you're in a back bend. And now try to breathe here. A little easier to inhale in this position. And then slowly release. So just noticing these different positions, how it affects you. So that one, we can often get really stuck in our inhale and that overarched back. Last one, we're going to tighten the belly up like we're kind of trying to suck it in and put on a pair of tight pants. So suck your belly in and keep it in and try to take a breath. And then completely relax. So think about positions that you put yourself in on a regular basis. So do you sit at a desk and round your back a lot? Do you wear a shoulder bag on one side and kind of tip your body to one side? If we do that for hours and hours a day, maybe if we're sitting at a desk or things like that, think about how compromised your breath might be. All right, so from here, let's go ahead and take your hands behind the back of your head. Interlace your hands. We're going to start with our arching and curling. So we're going to inhale, tip your tailbone forward, press the elbows down, arch your back. And now we're going to exhale and curl up. And as you curl up, press your lower back, bring your elbows toward your knees. And then release. Inhale, come down and arch. Exhale, curl up. Really press that lower back down. And I want you to continue that and really focus on starting to lengthen the exhale phase. So as you come up, let that be very complete and try to kind of squeeze out all of the air. So by doing so, we're helping to strengthen the exhalation muscles. Now, next time, inhale, arch. And as you exhale, right elbow and left knee come together. And really squeeze it in, complete your exhale. Inhale, come down, arch. Exhale, left elbow, right knee. Keep that going. Again, emphasizing the exhale phase. All right, so now we're going to change it up again. Inhale, arch next time. Exhale, come across, hold it. And then we're going to go in and out about 1/3 of the way. So go out about 1/3, take a little sip of air, and then squeeze it in. And again, same side. Inhale out, exhale, squeeze in. So we're keeping a little bit of tension on that exhale muscle. And now squeeze it, hold it. And then release, inhale, arch. You might find that those inhales get a little bigger now. Now let's try the other side. Left elbow, right knee, or whichever side you're on. Squeeze it in and then go out 1/3. Little sip of air, back in. 2 more times. On this last round, hold it in, squeeze it in. And then release. Inhale, arch. Back to side 1, right elbow, left knee. This time, straighten your left leg. So leg straight up, that's it. And then squeeze it in, go out 1/3, little sip of inhale, exhale, squeeze. 2 more. And then hold it here, squeeze it in. And release, inhale, arch. When you're ready, other side. And then again, in and out 3 times. Little sip of air. And then we're gonna hold it and squeeze. And then release. Inhale, arch the spine. Now exhale, bring both knees into the chest. Elbows and knees pull together and squeeze. Inhale, come out with a slight arch. You can come all the way down with your arms. Arch the back, and then exhale, curl in. Keep that going. Each time you curl in, press in your lower back, squeeze your belly, and find a really nice, complete exhalation. Many of us, these muscles are really weak. These muscles of exhalation. Next time you come up, hold it there. Reach your arms forward. Squeeze your belly in toward your spine. And now reach your right hand toward the right corner of your mat. And then left hand toward the left corner of your mat. And try to keep your shoulder blades off the ground. And now try to shift your feet toward the side that you're reaching toward. And we get a little bit more kind of a side crunch. Keep that going. See if you can keep your head off the ground. If you need to, put your hands behind the back of your head. Next time you come to one side, hold it, squeeze. And then when you're ready, last time, other side. Back to center, let your head come down, let your feet come down. And now let's stretch the legs out. Inhale, reach the arms overhead, flip your palms, and lengthen your whole spine after all that flexion. Maybe reach through right leg, reach through left leg a few times, just kind of lengthening out the psoas. This is the psoas, the structural muscle, can get really weak and tight, and that will influence our breath as well. Okay, knees into the chest one more time, and we're gonna roll to the side and come on up into a seated posture. So it's a very breath-centered practice. We're gonna do a little bit more seated work, and then we'll get going after that. So maybe sit up on something if that feels best for you. Okay, so see if you can find that optimal alignment where you're not shifting to the side or arching or rounding your spine. Just be right up through the center so we have that optimal opportunity for our breath. I'm starting to breathe into the area of the belly rather than up in the chest. We're going to learn a new technique. This is called funnel breath. And this is from my teacher, Tia. So funnel breath, we're going to bring our hands to our rib cage. And imagine the whole rib cage, like the top of a funnel, which is nice and wide. And that's going to be on our inhale. We're going to open wide into the top of the funnel. And then as you exhale, you're going to imagine bringing everything into center and down the funnel into that narrow tip. So we're like hugging the muscles in and imagining energy moving down. So let's try that. Inhale wide into the top of the funnel. And then exhale, imagine everything squeezing to the center and going down toward the pelvic floor. Do that again. Inhale into the ribs. And then exhale down through center. We're going to add on to that. Next time we do this, I want you to add a shush breath, like you're trying to tell someone to be quiet. And it's going to be in your exhale. We're going to make that sound, and that's going to emphasize those muscles. So here we go. Inhale. And exhale. Shh. Follow it all the way to completion. And then do 2 more like that. Inhale wide, top of the funnel. Exhale. Shh. All the way out. And 1 more time. All right, slowly release that. And let's come into tabletop pose and we'll do our cat-cows. So we'll play with some of those breath techniques in our flow. Setting up hands under shoulders, knees under hips. When you're ready, start your cat-cows and let's emphasize that exhalation phase. Continue on your own for a few more rounds. Inhale, arch, exhale, round. Emphasize the exhale and really just kind of breathe all that breath out, squeeze into your belly, and then do a few more. So obviously in our regular daily living, we're not going to like exhale like and squeeze the belly like we're doing now. This is technique for our practice to strengthen those exhalation muscles so that when we're in our normal daily living, we can exhale and we're not having to do that squeezing stuff. So that's, you know, just part of our practice. But we do want to be aware and pay attention to our breath throughout the day. So maybe take some breaks, notice how you're breathing, maybe recalibrate and see if you can shift your pattern out of that being stuck in the inhalation phase. Take 1 more cycle and then just go ahead, come back to a brief child's pose. On your next inhalation, let's come back into tabletop pose. Set your hands just slightly forward of your shoulders. So we're going to set up for dog, but we're going to do from table to dog in repetition. So inhale, slight lift of your gaze and your chest. Exhale, tuck your toes, move back low, and then lift up into a down dog. And that'll be on your exhale. So knees down, inhale, look forward. Exhale, down dog. And as you come into your down dog, give that belly a bit of a squeeze. And let's do a few more on your own, just like that. Now we're going to see if we can start to lengthen out the exhale. So as you do this, next time you come into your inhale, you're going to count your exhale to a count of 4. So inhale, and then exhale to dog 4 counts. And as you continue, can you make that number longer? Can you go to 5 counts, 6 counts, 7 or 8? So ideally, when we're trying to shift our physiology, we want to make our exhales twice as long as our inhale. So go ahead and do 2 more cycles just like this. And after that second cycle, from your down dog, go ahead and walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Okay, we're going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, slight bend in the knees, give that squeeze to the belly, and then do 2 more. And whatever that number you found in dog, can you replicate that here? So if you got a 6, 7, or 8 count exhale, can you stick with that? 1 more round. And then inhale, let's rise all the way up, reaching through your arms. And then exhale, release, arms down at your side. So another interesting little yoga tidbit here is that when we learn to shift into longer exhales, really calming for what we call vata dosha, which is really characterized by a lot of air and space in the body. So that compression and emphasizing the exhales kind of squeezes that excess air out. So it can be really grounding for our bodies. And conversely, if we're kind of stuck in that inhale phase, it's going to give us more vata, more agitation, more nervous system issues and anxiety, stuff like that, sleep problems. So there's so many benefits to doing this kind of work. So let's inhale, reach the arms up and do a half sun sal. Exhale, fold, long exhalation. Maybe count it out, give the belly a squeeze. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. And as we come up, we're going to step the feet apart a little bit. Hold on to your right wrist. Take an inhale to lengthen, and as you exhale, side bend. Stay there, rooting into your legs, draw your tailbone down. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, start to roll your chest slightly toward the ground. And we get a nice stretch through the side body, back of the shoulder blade. Do that 2 more times on this side. Inhale, chest comes more facing forward. Exhale, roll the chest down. 1 more time, inhale and exhale. So kind of stretching out those muscles in the rib cage. Inhale, come up and change sides. Hold on to your left wrist, side bend. And first, just kind of staying with the chest forward, tailbone down. Take an inhale. Exhale, roll the chest and get that traction. So you're still kind of pulling on the arm. Inhale, center. Exhale, roll the chest, pull. 1 more time. Inhale, back to center. Step your feet back in. Come into chair pose with your hands at your heart. So Utkatasana is a position that we often kind of either tuck and round or overarch our back. So see if you can get a sense of being a little more neutral through your spine. And then let's rise back up. Inhale, palms overhead. Exhale, release, arms down. So we're going to try our chair pose again and try to keep as much of our neutral spine as possible. So take one hand to the belly, one hand to the lower back. Lift the belly, lengthen the lower back. So now we're in a nice neutral pelvis position. That will change as we come into chair. But try not to let it dip too much. So keep that lift of the belly, length of the tail, bend your knees without changing too much else. That's it. Keep that belly lifting, bring hands back to the heart. Good, pause here, press down into your feet, and then inhale, reach your arms up and see if you can do so without changing your spine. So spine is still pretty neutral. See if you can get a nice breath. And as you exhale, squeeze the belly. 1 more time, inhale. And this time, exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. And now step back, plank pose, top of a push-up. Pausing there. Push through your hands, find neutral spine as you can. See if you could take a breath. How does it feel? And then lower all the way down to the ground. Hands by your chest, shoulders back. Inhale, cobra. Exhale down, 2 more cobras. Inhale, lift up. Tops of the feet reach back. Exhale down. 1 more time. Good. Release, press it back, downward facing dog. Big inhale in your dog. As you exhale, walk your feet forward, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, arms reach. Step your feet apart, grab that right wrist, side bend to the left, roll your chest toward the floor. Inhale, come up, other side, reach, side bend, and roll your chest toward the floor. Inhale, up through center, step your feet back together, arms stay up, chair pose. Try to keep your neutral spine. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, step back, plank pose. Lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up, warrior 1, step through. Spin your back heel down, and we're gonna bring hands to hips initially. Yeah, so here's another pose, just like chair pose. We tend to go really tippy in our pelvis, and to some degree we have to, but let's straighten the front leg, try to lift that lower belly, lengthen the tail, so we have that opportunity for optimal breath. Keep the low belly lifting as best you can, and then bend back into your front knee. Really anchor into your back foot. And then as you're ready, reach your arms up. Now staying here, inhale wide like your funnel breath into your ribs. And then exhale, narrow and down, squeeze. So what we're doing is activating the lower transverse abdominis muscles. 1 more round. Good, and then from here, release your hands down to the ground, spin onto the ball of your back foot, drop onto your back knee. Back toes can be tucked or flat. Inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, hands come down to the floor or block. Shift your back knee back. Half Hanumanasana, straighten your front leg. Good, from here, outer hips hug in. Inhale, and as you exhale, option to fold forward. Taking a few breaths here. If you can breathe wide into the ribs, exhale, a little squeeze. One more breath. And from here, go ahead and bend that knee, step it back, downward facing dog. Optional vinyasa if you would like to take one, or stay in your downward facing dog. Okay, let's try other side as you're ready. Inhale, left leg up. Step through, warrior 1. Starting with hands on the hips and straightening your front leg. See if we can find that neutral pelvis as best you can. Front belly lifts, tailbone lengthens. Try to keep all of that as you re-bend into your front knee. And then reach your arms up. A couple rounds of your funnel breathing here. With a nice soft gaze, relaxed face, squeeze on the exhale. And on your next exhalation, go ahead and release your hands down, spin onto the ball of the back foot, drop the back knee down. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And then exhale, hands down for half Hanumanasana, half split. Maybe shift your back knee back a little bit and straighten your front leg. Try not to jam that knee. Inhale. And as you exhale, perhaps folding forward. If that bothers your back or your hamstring, you feel like you're really rounded, I would prefer that you stay up a little higher so that you can still have a good breath. Not that there's anything wrong with rounding our spines, but we tend to do it a lot, and that creates a pattern in our bodies. All right, slowly bend into that knee, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale here, and as you exhale, walk your feet forward, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Take your vinyasa. You can also go right to down dog if you prefer. Good. Inhale, right leg up. Step through. We're coming into warrior two this time. All right, let's again bring hands to hips and see if you can kind of square your chest and rib cage toward the long edge of your mat. We're not tipping at all. We're also finding neutral pelvis. So lift the belly, lengthen the tail, and then bend a little deeper into your front knee. As you're ready, reach the arms back out into your warrior two, looking over your front fingers. We're going to hold here again, finding that funnel breath. Couple rounds. Inhale wide into the ribs. Exhale, squeeze in and down. One more. And then from here, reverse warrior, wrap the back hand around your back. Use that hand to kind of pull your hip away from your rib and then reach to the back. And send the breath into the side body here, stretching again those muscles that we have been using for exhalation. Holding it here, another breath. Feel that breath move into the side body. Good, and then release, coming back up to warrior two. Straighten that front leg, parallel your feet, bring hands onto the hips. Good, inhale here as you exhale, little bend in the knees, bring your hands down to the ground and walk your hands forward like down dog. Come up really high on your fingertips, bend your knees a lot, and then pull your hips back, pull your sit bones back and walk your hands any amount more forward, lengthening the side body. Now, if you can, straighten those legs any amount by lifting through your sit bones. Try not to do it by pushing your knees back. Nice long funnel breath here. One more. All right, slowly walk those hands back in. Pivot around to the front of your mat and then come into a lunge facing forward. You're on the ball of the back foot, back knee is up, hug the outer hips in, blocks if you need them under your hands. And try to find a as much length to your spine as you can. As you're ready, go ahead and take that right hand, reach it up into a twist. Hugging those outer hips in, and let that turn happen from the belly and the rib cage. Try not to throw the arm back, but move from the torso. Let's hold there one more breath. And then slowly release, hand down, step it back, down dog, vinyasa if you would like. All right, let's go ahead, try the other side as you're ready. So we're gonna inhale, left leg up. Step it through, coming into your warrior two. Starting with hands on hips so we can get that neutral pelvis established. We can even square the chest and then lift the belly, lengthen the tailbone, and then arms can come back out. Looking over towards your left fingers. Now, do your funnel breath a couple rounds, and you can just kind of start to observe your body in these different positions. How well can you inhale and exhale? And if you're finding you're not able to complete those actions, can you make an adjustment in your posture? All right, reverse warrior as you're ready. Back arm wraps around, front palm flips up, and reach back. And then use the bottom hand, pull your hip down, reach your top arm up, and we get that stretch into those rib cage muscles. Send the breath into the front ribs. All right, release it back to your warrior two. Straighten your front leg, parallel your feet, hands on hips. Okay, so this time we're adding on a twist. So let's take the arms up first. Interlace the palms, press the palms up. Root your feet down, engage your legs, and lengthen as best you can, lifting your ribs off of your pelvis. And then release hands to hips. Bend your knees, hinge forward at your hip creases, and bring your hands to the floor, right down in front of your face. If you find you need to round your spine to get down here, come up on blocks. Okay, bend your knees just a little bit and bring your right hand right to the center. Bring your left hand onto your left hip. Bend your right knee a little bit. Take an inhale and reach your chest forward. And as you exhale, start to turn open towards your left side. Push through your bottom hand. Keep that other knee bent a little bit. So right knee bent. If it's okay, take your left arm and reach it up. If that bothers your shoulder, keep hand on the hip. Now, we're going to do a little kind of pumping action. So bend that right knee a little bit more. And then as you exhale, push in your heel and turn into the twist. Do that again. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, push into the foot, turn and twist. And twist from your torso, not your arm. Last time. Then hold it here. That leg can start to straighten if you like, or you might keep it a little bent. Good. Slowly release as you're ready. Back to the start. And now left hand goes center, right hand to the hip. That's it. Bend your left knee. Inhale, reach your spine forward. Exhale, shift to your right. And then either hand stays on the hip or reaches up. And then we bend that knee, a little pumping action. And then push into that left foot and try to turn your torso. 2 more rounds. Bend. That's your inhale. Exhale, turn. 1 more time. Hold it there for another moment, using those squeezing muscles. And then release. Bring it back to the center. Pause here. Inhale, lengthen your spine. You could stay there, or exhale, fold. And then a couple of options. Hands could stay in line with your feet. You could hold your ankles or big toes, or maybe you go a little pigeon-toed and slide your arms wide out to the sides and let your head descend downward. Maybe the head touches the floor. And then we're going to bend the knees a little bit. And then push into the feet as you exhale, maybe folding a little deeper. So don't overdo it. We don't want to be forceful with our bodies or our breath. Do what feels right for you. Take one more time, bend the knees, and then straighten. And as you exhale, fold a little deeper if that feels right. All right, from here, walk the hands back out, pivot around to the front. And then we're going to come into that twist. So hug your outer hips in, blocks if you need them, reach your chest forward. And then as you're ready, we're going to take that, I hope I didn't get this mixed up. I think we're on left arm reaching up. All right, and then holding it there for a few cycles of breath. How well can you breathe in this position? Even though we're in a twist, or if our spine is turning, we might still be able to get that nice optimal breath. One more. Good, and then slowly release, hand down, step it back, downward facing dog, vinyasa if you would like. We're gonna meet in child's pose after that round. We've got one more standing sequence. So take a couple breaths in your child's pose. Child's pose is, it's a forward folding posture. So it might be a good place to kind of maybe emphasize those exhales. One more breath. And then we're going to be working toward revolved triangle. So go ahead and bring blocks to the top of your mat if they're not there. And then we're going to come back to downward facing dog. Okay, inhale, right leg up. Step it through, warrior one. Arms reach up. You can go right up, but see if you can find that as much neutral in your spine as you can. And then release, hands onto your hips. Step your back foot in a few inches, and we're going to straighten the legs, preparing for a pyramid pose. Hug your outer hips in. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, slight bend in that front knee, hinge forward, and bring your hands to your blocks. Once you're there, adjust your feet so that you feel stable, balanced, and stay in the halfway up shape for a moment. Okay, as you hug your hips in, see if you can send your inner thighs a little back and your chest forward. Tuck your chin and lengthen the back of your neck. And then spiral your elbow creases a little forward. Find a breath here, maybe a little of that funnel breath. How even is it in your body? And you can certainly stay here, or on your next exhale, fold over your front leg. In which case you might lower the blocks or bring hands to the floor. And then, of course, we're in a forward fold, which the spine will round a bit. But how well can you breathe here? Is there anything you could change to help yourself breathe a little better? One more here. All right, slowly starting to come up. And I think we're gonna just wait for a revolved triangle till next round. So go ahead and make your way back, down dog. Vinyasa if you would like. I don't want to keep you in that same position too long. I want you to be a little more fresh when we come into the revolved triangle. Okay, let's do other side for pyramid, warrior one pyramid. So inhale, left leg up. Step through, come into warrior one. Working toward that optimal breath. And then hands to hips. Step that back foot in. Both legs straight. Hugging the outer hips in. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, hinge, trying to keep that spine as long as you can. And then hands to blocks to begin. So I like to start on the blocks in this position so we can really work on lengthening the spine. Adjust your feet if needed. And then send a little bit of tailbone, inner thighs back as the chest and crown of the head reach forward. Tuck your chin so that you have a nice neutral neck. Find a nice breath here. Complete that exhale. Follow it all the way out. And then those of you who wish to fold, on your next exhale, you could fold over your front leg. And then again, you might lower the blocks or bring your hands to the floor. Again, make any adjustments that you need to. Long exhale, last one. And then go ahead, bend into that knee, step it back. Take the vinyasa if you wish. If you need a brief child's pose before the last round, go ahead and take it. You can also stay in your dog. Okay, let's go for it. Inhale, right leg up. Step it through, warrior one. Hands to hips, step the back foot in, adjust your legs. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge, and you can go to the halfway or go right to the forward fold. Let the chin tuck. And as you exhale, imagine you're also exhaling out the crown of your head. It's releasing. So we not only exhale physically, we exhale mentally. Now, if you don't have your blocks, grab the blocks, come up to the halfway up shape again. So now getting ready for the revolved triangle. Take your block that's in your left hand to your right big toe. Inhale, pull the spine long, tailbone back, and then right hand onto the hip. Pause there. Keep that hip kind of pinning in. Inhale, lengthen again, straight forward. And now as you exhale, push in your bottom hand, start to turn your chest over to the right. Keep pushing into the bottom hand and lifting through the top shoulder a bit to open the chest and lengthen through your spine. If you're okay here, top arm could reach up. Good, now inhale, lengthening. Exhale, push in your bottom hand and turn through your rib cage. Squeeze into the belly. Hold it if you can, 2 more breaths. You can always modify if needed, hand on the hip. Exhales happen mostly when we forward fold or when we twist optimally. And then release. Take your time. Separate your blocks, step it back, down dog, vinyasa if you would like to take one. If you need a child's pose before side 2, that's an option. That's an intense posture. So take care of your body. Meeting in down dog, we'll do our other side. So inhale, left leg up, step through, warrior 1. So moving a little faster this time. Hands to hips, step the back foot in. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, hinge, straight spine. Fold over your front leg. Staying halfway or come into the forward fold, letting the crown of the head descend toward your foot, toward the floor. And empty out. Exhale mentally. And then everyone coming back up onto the blocks if you're not there. Any adjustments to your feet? Block that's in your right hand to your left big toe. Keep your hand on that block, left hand to the hip. Inhale, reach forward. And as you reach forward, hug your inner thighs and outer hips in for stability. And then exhale, start your turn. Push into your bottom hand, pull the top shoulder back. And then option to reach that top arm up. We hold for 3 breaths. The more you anchor into your legs and inner thighs, the more you could revolve. Each inhale, lengthen. Each exhale, turn without throwing your arm. Use your exhale muscles. Last round. And then slowly release. Make your way back. Down dog. Last vinyasa if you'd like to take one. And let's all meet in child's pose after that. And we'll take about 5 breaths there. Letting go of all the work. We have a little bit more work to go, but we're bringing the energy down now. A couple more breaths, feeling that mental exhale in your child's pose. Those exhales are grounding, cleansing, releasing. All right, we're gonna now make our way onto our backs. And we'll do a little work with bridge pose, but we're gonna do it a little differently today so that we're emphasizing the exhale phase as we're coming down out of our bridge. So we're gonna do one kind of normal bridge that I call like regular bridge, and then we'll change it up. So feet flat, knees bent. Let's find our robot arms. So palms are facing each other. Root down into your arm bones, into your shoulder head, so your chest feels a little lifted. Press in your feet, and then get the hips to lift just about an inch or so off the ground, and wiggle your shoulders in a little bit. So your chest starts to lift even more. Pause here, root into those arm bones, the shoulders, and the feet, and reach the tailbone towards your knees. Now on your next inhale, let's rise up with those hips all the way. Walk the shoulders in again, any amount. Pause. Root into your arm bones, your shoulders, and your feet, and reach your tailbone long. Tip the tailbone up a little bit. And then perhaps reach down, grab your mat, or interlace your hands under your back. Maybe those shoulders walk in again. Press down to lift up. Last breath. And then we're going to let go of the hands, undo the shoulders, and start to come down very slowly, one vertebra at a time, until you get to the bottom. Tailbone is going to come down last. And then as your tailbone comes down, your sacrum comes down. Tip your pelvis forward until your lower back arches off the ground. That's going to be an inhale. And then as you exhale, flatten and lift the tailbone off the ground. The hips are still down. We're just doing a pelvic tilt. So try that a few times. Inhale, arch, just like we did in the beginning. Exhale, flatten. One more time, then we're going to put this into a bridge flow. Inhale, arch. Exhale, flatten. Good. Now arms at your side if they're not there. Inhale, arch. And as you exhale and flatten, start to lift your arms off the ground. And now start to peel your vertebra up off the ground until you come into bridge with your arms reaching overhead. Now keep the arms reaching overhead, lift the hips as high as they'll go. As you exhale, keep the arms overhead, start to drop one vertebra, then the next. And at some point, let the arms start to lift. Keep your tailbone up. You're still exhaling if you can. Go at your pace, dropping the vertebra. And then as you come down, arms down, sacrum down, tip your tailbone forward and have an inhale. Exhale, flatten the lower back, curl up, lift the arms, lift the hips, reach through the arms, lift that tailbone up. And then as you exhale, the arms stay reaching, drop the vertebra. So this is lengthening out your exhale. Reach the one vertebra away from the last one, like you're lengthening your spine, arms coming down as you're ready. And then arch. So on your own, let's do 3 more rounds. I'm going to take a peek in at you guys. See how we're doing. So this is really good for our spine to kind of create a little bit of space between those vertebrae. So when they're compressed, that's going to affect our breathing. That's going to affect both our inhales and our exhales. So we're trying to create space between the vertebrae by laying them down like a string of pearls. And you're trying to create length between them as you come down. And we're also lengthening out that exhale. So go ahead and do one more cycle. And this time, as you come down, stay there. And you can either do your constructive rest with your knees apart or let the knees drop together. And we're going to take about 5 breaths. Spine is back in neutral. Notice your breath, the qualities of your breath. Maybe noticing any changes from the beginning of your practice. We're going to finish with a nice little somatic movement. So we're going to separate those knees if they are together. And then drop the left knee out to the side as if you were doing bound angle. Tuck the left foot behind the right foot. So the right heel is right in front of your foot. If you want, you could even watch this one for a moment. Now take your right hand, see if you can reach down and hold your left foot. And if you can't, you could use a strap. Take your left hand and reach it overhead like a full body stretch. Now keep a hold of your left foot with your right hand. Push into your right foot. Drop your right knee over to the left. Look at your left hand and arch your back. You might even come up onto the ball of your right foot. You're in a little back bend. And then as you exhale, slowly, slowly release and come back to that starting point. Now let's repeat that on your own. Inhale, rock over, arch, look at your hand. And then let's try a nice long exhalation to come back to the start. And then even pause for a little micro moment before you start the next one. Inhale, arch. Maybe tip your head back a little bit. And then release. 2 more on this side. Really go slow on the exhale. Let it be controlled. Last round. Even squeeze your right shoulder blade into your spine to really open up the front body. And then go ahead and release and bring both feet flat. Okay, let's try the other side. So we're gonna drop the right knee out like bound angle, tuck your foot behind your left and try to hold on to that foot. So make any adjustments you need to there. Use a strap if you can't quite reach. Right arm overhead. Good. Now rock your left knee over to the right. Arch your back, look at your hand, pull the shoulder blade in. Now we're contracting more back body. And then slowly melt your exhale back to the starting point, little pause. And then continue a few more rounds. So this is kind of just to balance our system out after all that contracting of the front body. But we're staying with those nice long exhales. Just 2 more rounds here. After this next one, go ahead and completely release back to start, both feet flat. Check our time. All right, let's go ahead and just bring the knees into the chest. Rock a little bit side to side. And then you could go into happy baby if you like. You could go into like a seaweed with your arms and legs up. Just something really kind of relaxing for your lower back. I just love the seaweed pose, one of my favorites now. Just really soothing. So you could do happy baby if you like, or arms and legs up for just a little sway in the imaginary ocean. If you're in seaweed, let all the joints be soft. So your wrists are soft, your feet are soft. And then we'll bring those knees back in last time. Finding Shavasana as you are ready. So take your time. Add any props that would help you feel comfortable. I'll give you guys a moment to get settled before I guide you any further. So making any last minute adjustments. And allow your whole body to be like the exhale, fully releasing into the ground. Exhale out through your palms, through your feet, through the back of your skull. Just feel like you're emptying out, releasing effort, emptying out fear, anxiety, stress. And starting to imagine that your body is like the soft fabric of a parachute. And as you do a soft, subtle inhalation, imagine your fabric of your body slightly lifting like a parachute with the air kind of just caught under it. And then as you exhale, let that fabric softly start to settle into the ground. And relax it all the way. And do that a few more cycles. With your visualization, just imagine that fabric of the parachute with a slight current of air lifting it slightly up and then settling back down, so soft. One more time. And then simply be in this moment, in this place of rest, having a sensation of dissolving into your exhale, dissolving through mind and body. Allowing the exhale to be the source from which we have come. The exhale guides us back to source. And when we exhale, we empty, which allows us to be more fulfilled. We can't be fulfilled if we're cluttered and crowded in our minds and bodies. So exhale to empty and release. Which can allow us a deeper appreciation for what we receive. So I'll read a quick little reading from my teacher on emptiness. Emptiness lies at the very heart of the great teaching of the Buddhist practices. However, the term emptiness is mostly misconstrued, second to the word enlightenment. People think emptiness is blankness, nothingness, nil. But in fact, emptiness is closer to receptivity. When we are empty, we are receptive, available, impartial, open-minded, tolerant. Paradoxically, emptiness is fullness. When we empty out, we can feel spacious, open, unconfined. When awakened in heart and mind, we feel fulfilled by each small thing. The shape of a cloud in the sky, shared meal, a hug. When we empty, we can give back to the world. One of the oldest analogies for the mind in meditation is that of a mirror. When we discard our assumptions about things, we can reflect things as they are. If we only see the world through the narrow lens of me, mine, and mine, then we fail to live a full and boundless life. So take a few more minutes. This place of both emptiness and receptivity. Right, so take your time now to come back to awareness. Let your breath get a little deeper, a little fuller. Invite in small movements when you are ready. Just noticing again how you feel here at the end of practice. When you feel ready, you can make some bigger movements, stretch it out before coming over onto your right side for a brief pause. And after your pause, take your time, press yourself up, and we'll come to meet in a seated posture. So as you arrive seated, finding that optimal alignment once again. And as you lift the back of your skull, feel those vertebrae lengthen, separate. Strong back. Stay soft in the front. You can allow your hands to rest for a few moments. We'll come back to our funnel breath. And try not to now go so hard on those exhales. Let them be soft, but follow them to completion. Just having a sense of just dissolving into those exhales. Breath of dissolution. Returning you to the source. Staying open, spacious in the mind. Last 3 breaths. Notice if you rush to start your inhale. Can you allow there to be a brief pause at the end of that exhale before you take your inhale? So that you start to maybe feel the body's spontaneous desire to take the inhale. After you finish those 3 breaths, let's go ahead and bring hands together in front of the heart space. Go ahead, take another inhale, exhale, bow your head to your heart. And thank you so much, everyone. Namaste. All right, thank you guys. I hope you feel good. Thanks for coming. So I'll just check in, make sure, we have enough interest for the class the next couple weeks, and then we'll see where we are at the end of the month. All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Have a good weekend.